Maximum Performance, where we meet the experts on taking your game or career to the next level.
I'm here with Brian O'Reilly from Human Potential Plus. Brian, you have an amazing career.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Well, it's mainly to do with people and how they're conditioned, and we have this kind of psychology called external control that when we practice it in our lives, it kind of creates a lot of havoc. And my role basically is educating people on how conditioned they are to this external control and replacing it with a new psychology called internal control.
So now when you say external control, are you talking about people that are control freaks that want to control everything around them? Their mate, everybody.
Yeah, well, that's a whole facet of it, but the main bulk of external control is really it's a detrimental psychology that actually gets in the way of people having the relationships in their life they need to be successful at anything, whether it's sport, whether it's in the business office, whether it's with your wife, with your kids. It really addresses the human experience and how to improve it.
So can you give me some examples of where this applied can really make dramatic results?
Well, I know this kind of sounds a little strange, but what I really love working with is miserable people.
Miserable people.
Yeah, because any person who's miserable, the source of human misery is people's inability to get along with the people in their life the way they want to and need to.
Right.
So whether it's a coach or a parent or a teacher or a husband or life at the office, the kind of axiom for all this is anything that human beings do, the success of what they do is proportional to how well they get along with the people they do it with. People get along well, they're going to accomplish a lot. If we can't get along together, things are going to get all messed up.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So you really teach people how to build relationships, build alliances, and take their career to the next level, no matter what they are, whether they're an athlete, whether a teacher, an executive.
Yeah, it's a real process of getting people to look at themselves and understand the process of self-evaluation. Most people, when we're not too successful, we have a tendency to evaluate other people.
Right, and blame them for their lack of success.
Exactly. So what we're working on here is really turning that paradigm around and getting people to understand that whatever it is they want to do or where they want to go, the success has to be driven through self-evaluation, affecting the things you can affect and letting go of the things that you can't control.
You've worked with presidents of companies, CEOs of companies, you've worked with Olympic athletes, you've worked with NHL hockey players. You basically your customer list is the who's who of people that you would think already are hugely successful and don't really need any help because they've already reached the pinnacle of their careers, let's say. But through your program and through your tools that you provide these people with, they can actually do even better.
Any person who's a real high performer understands that you're only as good as your last game. And these people, who are on the cutting edge of success, they're so internally driven. And they're really good at finding the things out in their life that create, the lack of possibility. And they want to attack that. And they want to turn those impossible situations into possible ones. So what I do is I bring in this internal psychology training, and it really helps to renew the business culture, the sport culture, because I do a lot of work with teams too, and a lot of high performance teams. I've worked with even doctors and and there's a lot of big egos in that kind of work. But when they learn some internal psychology, they really see the merits of cooperation and getting along. And then what happens is they really begin to understand the concepts of quality, because any winner at any given time can produce quality at will, because that's where the game is. You've got to produce quality at will.
Tell me about this. Was it the Australian Olympic volleyball team that you were working with?
Yes, well, I've worked with Australian women's volleyball, the gold medalist Natalie Cook. I've worked with a great player by the name of Nicholas Rademacher, Conrad Lineman from Canada, Jody Holden. those are just some of the athletes.
So these are all Olympic athletes that you're able to get inside their heads and give them the tools to take their performance to the next level.
Well, yeah, it's a wonderful opportunity to have, you know, the chance to kind of work with people like this, and you know, learning is always a two-way street, right? Because every situation, every person's different, so you really have to figure out what's going on inside them, how they satisfy their needs, and then you have to really find and specific coaching that helps them, and that's the real kind of key. You know, people can relate to this because if you have children, one child, you know, they're different than the other child,
right?
And you have to learn how to manage both kids, but in different ways,
right?
So they can both thrive,
right?
Well, it's the same way I think in anything that human beings do. Real coaching is the art of bringing an order to how people change and need to change their lives, and coaching them in it.
Yeah. You know what, Brian? This has been very educational. I really appreciate you coming to see us today.
Well, thank you for having me.
And anybody out there, any viewers out there, you should, if you need help with your business, with your career, with your relationships, you should get in touch with Brian at Human Potential Plus, because he's got some amazing an amazing toolbox of ideas and thoughts that are that transcend your relationships.
We hope you've enjoyed this broadcast. If you'd like to appear on the show, or you'd like us to create a show for your business, contact our producer, Paul Cookson, at 416-286-2860, or by email at tvproductions@higheranace.com. Thanks for watching.